Hi everyone, my name is Jenny and my colleague here is Kim, and together we will be taking you through just a small snippet of what studying in psychology at UCT entails. So firstly, let's start off with what psychology is. So psychology is the scientific study of behavior, which are our direct observable actions and responses, and the mind, which are our internal states and processes. So, for example, these can be our thoughts and feelings inferred from observable responses. So, for example, if I saw you crying, which is an observable action, then I could infer that you are sad, which is an internal state. So psychology therefore aims to describe, explain, predict, and control behaviors, states, and processes. It really is such an interesting field if you are curious about people. And if you're interested, take a look at the Netflix documentary called The Mind Explained. In episode 1, they talk about someone called HM. So this little guy over there. And HM had his hippocampus, which is a part of the brain super important for the creation of memory. So he had that removed when he was young, and after surgery, HM couldn't create any new memories at all. So essentially, he couldn't remember that he had breakfast, let alone what he had for breakfast. So imagine every day just wondering if you've had breakfast at all. And that's all psychology at play. So if you do decide to join us, you'll learn so much more interesting cases. Okay, so to get into psychology, the entrance requirements are quite simply that you get 50% or above for maths. So pure maths, not maths literacy. But what happens if you did maths lit? Well, don't fret, there's still a way for you to join us. So students who completed maths literacy are subject to the MBTQL score criterion. So essentially, if you get 70 for the MBTQL, you can register for our main psychology course. But if you do get below 70 on the MBTQL, you'll just need to take an additional maths course, so maths in the humanities course, in your first and second semester. Okay, so once you have joined us in psychology, in order to graduate with a degree, you would need to take the courses that are laid out on this slide. So you'll see that in first year, you'll see that it's introductory courses. Basically, we cover a little bit of everything to give you an idea of all the different fields you can access in psychology. Then the second year courses are a little bit more focused, but you get to take all the subjects, so you get a more detailed understanding, and you'll also note that research is one of the core courses that you will take throughout second and third year. And then in your third year, aside from research, you'll get 4 choices of courses, of which you have to take 2. And these courses focus on clinical psychology, which you might be familiar with, neuropsychology, so the study of the brain and behavior, in which you'll learn a lot more about cases like HM, which we talked about earlier, and then there's also critical psychology. Okay, so now I'm going to hand over to my colleague Kim.
Hi everybody, I'm going to talk to you about the career options that psychology offers you. There are routes for those who choose to get a postgraduate qualification in psychology, and that's the 7 professional categories that are recognized in South Africa, including industrial and organizational psychology, clinical psychology, counseling psychology, educational psychology, neuropsychology, forensic psychology, and research psychology. If you were to do these postgraduate degrees, you can specialize and ultimately register in one of these categories recognized. But if you were to do an undergrad major in psychology and not go further to postgrad level, you have the options to work in various business roles such as business process engineering, performance evaluation and work design, writing and editing, teaching and training, facilitation, data analysis, and even clinical work, such as rehabilitation or lay counseling. The psychology department at UCT is special and unique for various reasons. For one, we believe we can provide you with world-class training in psychology. As of 2021, we are the only African department listed among the top 250 psychology training institutions, according to the QS World University Rankings. In terms of what we can offer undergraduate teaching as well as postgraduate training leading to professional registration as a psychologist. We have a star-studded collection of lecturers and researchers who are leading experts in their field. If you're interested in their research, you can take a look at our departmental websites and look under the staff tab. Next, we strive in every way to produce the highest quality in the teaching of psychology and its research. We invite you to join us in the exploration and promotion of the vibrant discipline of psychology. The department's teaching and research interests are broad in their coverage and specialized in a number of areas. In general terms, its strengths lie in research, both quantitative and qualitative, clinical psychology, neuropsychology, and critical psychology. In more specific terms, our strengths are in child development, gender, psychological trauma, social psychology, cognitive psychology, research methods and statistics, and psychoanalytic theory. Here we'd like to welcome you to ask questions, but due to the time constraints, we won't be able to answer all your questions before the next presentation. But we can take all the questions in the chat, in the Q&A section of the chat. But we do have time for one question now that we can answer live.
We have a question in the Q&A. So someone asks, how should my matric report look if I want to major in psychology? So as I said, you only need a 50% in your maths NSC level in order to be accepted to do psychology. If you did Maths Lit, that's also fine, as long as you do the MBT and get 70. Okay, so Kim and I will continue to answer your questions in the live event Q&A. Otherwise, we have unfortunately run out of time. So thank you all for attending, and I really hope to see you in our department next year.